Aloha, and welcome once again to another wonderful show on Mama Presents. And today we have a lady who is really multi-talented and deals with multi-individuals in multi-different ways. And I'm so happy to introduce you to Christine Sutherland. And I met Christine, I came and did a hospice day here. We are at the hospice facility. Thank you very much, everybody. And I just loved the work that she has to offer to the world. So I'm so glad you came to join us today.
Now teach me aloha.
Aloha. The ha is the breath. Yes.
Well, it's wonderful to be in Hawaii, and I know Maui. This is my favorite island, my one and only island. And every year, Linda Sola, who's the owner and director of the Maui School of Therapeutic Massage, brings me in not just for four-legged mammals like Chelsea here, but rather for two-legged creatures, people. And in the people massage department, I come because I teach palliative massage. So that's what we're doing at the hospice with our volunteers.
But for our audience, can you tell them what that means?
Palliative massage is a type of massage that is not curative, but rather a massage group of techniques that are treating symptoms of people who are either disabled and in wheelchairs, elderly, or terminally ill. So a lot of the work that I do is teaching people in professional training programs how to feel comfortable touching the untouchable, people that don't look like we should go near them and give them the same pressure that we would give a person like you.
But it's really scary if you're not used to touching people like that.
And also when people are very ill or they're terminally ill, they're very thin. And so it's good to coach the students through how to maneuver in those situations where massage is highly indicated. And even in palliative pets, it's basically the same techniques. So should I tell you a bit about palliative massage?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I just wanted to say that's why we're here, is because I found Christine's work so valuable that I really wanted to offer it to you, and I wanted you to see and hear all that she has to offer, which of course we can't do in this 1 hour, but she's going to offer you so many different techniques.
Well, I get pretty...
Hold it, cut. I'm stopping it now.
In the training programs that I do across the world for hospice groups, which are the groups of volunteers that you find in every community that are interested in working with people who are usually terminally ill. And in Maui here, they have a wonderful hospice organization.
They certainly do.
We
They're really a beautiful group of people. They're so caring and so loving, and they help so many people here.
So my passions are wheelchair massage, and then the 3 areas for any patient to focus on with massage would be their respiratory problems, their digestive systems, and their circulatory problems. So when people are slowed down and in bed and bedridden for weeks and days at a time, their circulation slows right down, their respiratory system isn't as fully functioning. So I like to be able to show people how to do the percussive treatments. And even on pups like Chelsea, it's the same sort of technique as you cup the hand and then you, I won't pat me or I'll be patting the microphone, but you have this sort of resonating, well, that was good, Chelsea, made her burp. But the idea being that it helps get the expectoration up and out of the lungs. The other aspect of massage for people who are very ill and often on pain medication is to help their digestive system. Because as soon as you're on pain meds, and especially if there's codeine involved, everything slows down and they feel like they're either dying of gas or constipation.
Constipation, right.
So we do a lot to do with good tummy rubs, making the hips move and making the digestive system work really well. And then lastly, the circulation, we try and speed up by massaging all the extremities. So that's for me a special area of passion, we brought a woman called Dr. Kubler-Ross years ago to British Columbia.
She's been a teacher of mine for years.
Mhm.
Yes.
She's a wonderful adopted American. And back in the early 70s, we brought her to BC. And that's when I was a filmmaker. And so the idea of people learning about things traveling out and in, people being born and people dying, those were the two areas of the greatest concern for me.
So how did you go from filmmaking, back when I was a filmmaker, to cupping dogs?
Well, I actually started as a back-to-the-land farmer. So I had goats and horses and cows, and so I became known for being able to rub animals the right way. And I was great in animal husbandry before I ever became an expert in people. So it was a good beginning. You know, I think that the goats and chickens and dogs and cats and those sort of things taught me a lot more
taught you a lot.
about sensitivity and about feedback and about how to read them the right way.
That's so important, you know. And I find that people in the hospital and people that really need massage, most of them really don't get it. It's so important that people hear that. I mean, I go visit someone in the hospital, and I'll stop and I'll rub their feet, I'll rub their hands, and they'll say, "Oh, that feels. Nobody's touched me the whole time I've been in here," you know. And you like go, "Whoa, isn't that sad?"
It is, and yet at the same time, even in Canada with our cutbacks in our healthcare, the public is more and more involved now in hands-on care, and they're encouraged in our chronic care facilities, as in our hospitals, for the families to get involved. That's why there isn't ever going to be an end to the work that a massage therapist can
That's
do.
right.
It's very much expanded. The other areas, is that enough of a pause?
Yeah,
Okay, because I was just going to launch into another corner. so-
launch away.
Okay. The other areas of massage therapy that are contemporary right now, Raul, are to do with the areas that are pretty much weekend warrior types. So wherever you get people who are getting healthy, and especially you see in Maui, people biking and hiking and surfing and all the outdoor activities, all these strains and sprains were confined before to Olympic athletes and people
Right.
on sports teams. Now we find people all over who are having weekend injuries because they're choosing a healthy lifestyle. And I find a lot of the people on these islands are people who've come here for an alternative health style.
Absolutely.
You know, they've left LA behind. Like Chelsea comes from a family where they're going to be orchid farmers. They bought an old orchid farm here,
Aw.
and they come from LA, and they're wanting, you know, they're out of the corporate world and doing something that feels more satisfying to them. So she's actually going to be a farm dog now.
You're going to be a little farm dog?
And the other aspect
for
of
you.
that is the people that are still, no matter what, in a place like this, they're working in offices. And for all the cottage industry where people don't have to go into a large office tower, they can work at home through the internet. Again, we're finding a lot of problems with carpal tunnel syndrome.
A lot.
With people with headaches from head, neck, and shoulder tension. So it's disconcerting that the public is getting more and more restricted in the upper body. They're staying in one place. Before, when we used to type, we returned the carriage on the typewriter. We got up to go to the trash. We had more movement. And now, you know, we just don't have that sort of everyday movement. Yeah. So we get a lot of what I call computeritis and mouseitis. So again, it's really important for families, not just for people to come to professional massage therapists, but for
Absolutely.
people like you who are going to pick up your email and be able to do programming online, that sort of thing, to be able to have somebody, some partner, some family member that can apply a therapeutic touch to your
Absolutely.
shoulders, make your arms, and I think Chelsea will stay in one place. And it's as simple as being able to work all the way down the arm, being able to get all in the spots.
Ow.
Sorry.
That's okay. It feels
Sorry,
great.
I go right for the
I
jugular
love it. Go for it.
And then what you can do also is work all into these areas so that you're all down in here. And you'll find that so many people get really, really tight up in the wrist here. So whether you're a gardener or you're someone who's on the internet a lot, all this kind of thing really helps. And I find with the musicians that I've traveled with, that
I was
is
going to
really
say,
good.
if you like to make music or do crafts, or that also affects that big time, I find.
The
Keep going,
Canadian,
keep going.
the Canadian performer that I toured with, Lorena McKinnon, is very popular here because people here like harp music and Celtic music, and it's like new age music.
Yes, she's beautiful music.
She's well loved in Hawaii, so I hear her music in Maui here. And when I toured with their band, I started in Rome, met them in Rome, and we toured Europe and North America for 2 to 3 months. And it was with her album called The Book of Secrets. And that was in 1998. And this was probably what I did every day of those day-to-day massages on everybody, whether they were the lighting director or whether they were the harpist and our principal performer, or whether they were the cellist or the high-end bass player. So we had musicians that were world-class from Great Britain,
Oh,
especially.
it feels so good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
I
really
think you're getting
feels
lopsided.
delicious.
I'll take the other one. Move all the Maui
Oh,
jewelry.
please.
But I find that this is something that is really good for families to learn, because you've got kids learning to play the piano, lots and lots of music here on Maui, and people learning to play. I was working with a woman teaching her some hospice work yesterday, and she plays the ukulele in a Hawaiian
Yeah, I love
performance.
the ukulele.
And so Loretta was telling me how, she uses her hands in a way that gets all of this really, really tight.
Absolutely.
And it's just a general kind of workout, but you can use your thumbs and be really specific. So what works for computer people also works for any concert pianist, that same sort of working up and down. The nice thing is you don't have to get undressed or get horizontal, that all of this is easily accessible in a vertical position. And I think for me that's probably more I think, state of the art right now in massage therapy, that we can get at people anywhere and everywhere.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought was so fabulous for you to offer to everybody.
Well,
because most massage therapists think that you have to have a table and you have to have your sheets, and you're just immediately available for everyone and everything, which is
well, here in
quite a nice
Maui,
gift.
it's a huge industry in tourism, so people do want the classical lie down and the very traditional skin on skin, and you've got incredible oils here.
And it's wonderful. I love that. But we also need the other as well. I've talked about this for years, but we don't touch the way we're supposed to touch. If you watch every other animal in the world, and they play with each other, and they rub all over each other, and they roll, and they touch, and they lick, and they pet, and we as humans have stopped doing that so much, so I think it's very, very important.
Well, I really get world peace issues when I think that if people did stay in touch with each other and literally had safe ways to handle each other, the amount of isolation and detachment that breeds fear and all of the disconcerting, dividing kinds of feelings, it just bridges the gap. It's such a powerful miracle that we have it right at the tip of our fingers, just to reach out, and no matter if you know somebody or not.
Absolutely.
When I was in Germany taking people there, some Canadians, for the Kahului hydrotherapy, there was a woman in a cafe, and she was just leaning over, and you could tell something was wrong. And we didn't speak the same language at all, but I went like this, and, was it here or was it there? And she pointed, it was here, and I thought, it's probably cramps or something. And she leaned over, and, I just rubbed her back, and after 10 minutes, she, made a motion that she was okay.
It's a universal language, that's for sure.
So I really appreciate the opportunity to encourage people to get their hands on each other. And
Thank you
it's-
for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So touch each other a lot.
Reach out and touch.
And your
somebody's
doggies.
hand. I think the Americans, more than any other group in the world, have promoted massage for sensuous massage, therapeutic massage, all of the body-mind integrated massage techniques. The Swedish roots of massage and the Scandinavian roots and the European and German roots and British roots are still very, very strong in massage therapy. But it was the Massage book by George Downing, you know, that was an all-out bestseller.
book, yes.
And that was back in the late 60s.
Long time ago.
Yeah, and those are the kinds of things that, you know, we owe a lot to the Americans for spreading that aspect of massage, that it encompassed more people than just people with a sprained back or dislocations and post-operative conditions. But at the same time, there's more and more massage being done in serious situations. The amount of recovery that happens when people have stroke, when you can teach a family member to massage this arm while I'm massaging this arm, is just incredible for speeding up the recovery and enhancing the balance.
How does it speed the recovery?
Well, somewhere in the brain there is the same center for both those extremities. And it seems to be that you elicit a stronger stimulus on that higher neurological level, so that if this was the affected arm, when we're massaging both, this arm gets to sense what it's supposed to be feeling by the input coming in at exactly the same time. So it's only what we call clinical
Right.
experience that my patients told me when I was showing their wives or husbands what to do, that they were feeling sensations on both sides that were faster than when I was working just by myself. So I'm still waiting for someone to write the data on the why it works. But
Well, I
use
just
it
thought I would
anyway.
see what your answer was, because I know why. I mean, I know it works. I agree with you, and I've worked that way myself. But the why is interesting, isn't
Well,
it?
yeah, we have the researchers
And
for
I
that.
know even when years ago I had surgery on my knee, and they immediately had me on the bicycle doing this leg, like immediately. So they
You see that
definitely
bilateral
cross. Mhm.
activity you've got when you're pedaling one leg and the other all the time. So you're getting that constant flip back and forth in the brain.
To the brain,
Yeah.
right?
It's great.
So it's, how would you
Work with Chelsea?
work with Chelsea?
Well, these, I brought a little dog because they're pretty
It's a
manageable.
good thing. You would, big one would be
Well,
hard
I
on
used
your
to
lap
work,
there.
on horses, so I have to organize my diminutive stature accordingly. But with any mammal, you're finding that you work all the way down the entire spinal column. Now with dachshunds, they have a problem with having such a long spine. They tend to have a strain in their back and they
Little
get a bit
curve.
droopy. So you have to really make sure that they don't get overweight. Any of these long in the body, short in the leg dogs. So to begin with, I work up and down the whole spine. Now with animals, you can't do your effleurage going that way. You're literally rubbing their fur the wrong way. So you learn to maneuver up and down the spine with the same strokes that we would work with you when we're doing a back massage. The emphasis for me is in the joints all the way along. So where the main joint hooks up to the body, that's where I would work with my fingertip kneading. There's a lot of dogs that have hip dysplasia. This isn't one of the breeds that does, but with setters and Alsatians, German Shepherds,
Shepherds, yeah.
all those type of dogs tend to have problems with hip dysplasia. So I teach the owners to work all around the hip itself. And then if you've got a strain or something like that, what you do is you're able to work the area, then stretch out the extremity, tuck it back in, and then you use the touch to help you seduce the animal into letting you do the movement, so that the touch is able to take away also the discomfort that the movement would have caused. A lot of times they, after surgery, have tightness in a joint, so you use the massage to soften that up. Then there's other animals with just
She seems to be very happy.
There's other animals with tender tummies So it doesn't matter if they're a people person or a dog person, you're going to be able to massage the tummy. And I massage our tummy around in the same direction as I do Chelsea's tummy. So we're going to go up the side, across, and down. And those are the areas, as we do also with baby massage, that just helps settle the stomach if it's hyperactive and help the stomach get excited if it's gone to sleep and sluggish. So sometimes after surgery, a dog will have to have their tummy rubbed just to aid in digestion so they don't strain when they're having a bowel movement and then cause problem for their stitches, which is the same as with people with abdominal surgery.
Yes.
So we do that sort of thing. And then, very good, Chelsea.
She's saying thank you.
Pretty good for my dog in Canada is a Cairn Terrier, and he isn't quite as patient as Chelsea. And then, as you saw before, we were doing this work.
Stay, baby.
And you can work all the way up and down the back. And you can work right into the front there. And this is a resilient pet. And she's used to being well handled. So she's running for higher ground as we speak.
Good and pounding,
Good
huh?
work, Chelsea.
Yes, you did a very good job. Thank you very much for appearing on our show, Chelsea.
And sometimes you don't get dogs that are as cooperative as Chelsea. So a lot of people, when they bring their pets to me, as with babies, I just let the pet cling to them. So that I'll show you the clinging technique. And it's very much, and with a larger dog, they'll climb also right onto the lap. But you could also work all the way up and down Chelsea's spine and work all up in here.
While
and
she's clinging.
While she's, feeling secure. Because as a therapist, with kids and animals, they have to be within smelling distance of their owners or glued to their owners for us to actually perform the therapy on them.
So it would kind of look like this. If I were her owner, I would have her this way.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you would be working
Yeah,
on her.
and then I would go up and down like that and show you the kinds of things to do. And then you would practice that. Well, you're good with animals.
Yeah, I like them.
Oh, that's great.
They like me too.
Lucky you, Chelsea.
I like babies too. I like people too.
Well, it's great that you're such a people person because it makes this kind of a show interesting when you can have
Yeah,
such
well, we
nice
haven't had
pictures.
such a sweet little doggy on our show before. This is a first.
Well, if it's Maui, they probably have canine aura massage too, but
I'm
you know,
we
they-
do have canine
or the hot stones, and there's probably pet lomi, but I just don't know that yet.
Oh, that would be interesting. We'll have to ask that question. It would be the same thing as regular lummy, right? Oh, you're such a good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. So we have a baby, don't we? Ooh, you're in for a treat. Angelina. Say hi to everybody, Angelina.
We're just gonna slip you out of your bathrobe here. And I'm gonna give Angelina a massage for a normal, everyday baby massage routine. And there's a number of different, hey Pumpkin, you are so cute.
Angelina's 7 months.
Oh my gosh. I'd like to take you home to Canada.
Oh, she's so adorable, and I understand you massaged her mommy for a pregnancy massage.
Well, that was a year ago. Yeah, when I was here, that was the real fun.
How wonderful.
So the kids that I work with are often special needs kids that are arriving early, and so that they have various problems that we want. I'm actually going to use this to distract her. So here we go. Here we go. And I'm going to try the hardest cell first, where I have her in a seated position, and then I'm going to put a little bit of oil. Thank you very much. And Christine, who's her mom, is one of my favorite Maui moms. Christine
Yay,
helped me
Christine. Thank
Christine
you for
helped
being
me
here with us.
teach. Last year when she was pregnant, all my students got to benefit from her pregnant condition. And then what we're going to do is work right down here into the lower back while she's unsuspecting. And that way it's really good if she has constipation or gas or anything like that. Same as on bigger human beings. If you work the lower back, it helps the tummy work a lot better. And then if she ever got congested, Christine, like a cough or a cold, you would work all up in the thoracic here, and you would hold your hand in a cup shape, and you could do all this sort of cupping, and you could cup back and forth. Anything to jiggle the expectoration so
From
it's
the
easier
front to the
cough.
back.
Yep.
That's a really good one for
Oh,
them.
it is.
Wow.
And you just get them shaking so that they're able to get the lungs all stirred up. And while the going's good, we're just going to have her roll back. It's me again. Yes.
Hey, sweetheart.
A whole mob.
Oh,
And I'm
you're
going to
so
show
pretty.
you the strokes that are good for massaging the tummy. So first we're going to do these overall effleurage strokes. You might not even need that to play with. And then we're going to work down along the diaphragm attachment, and that eases up everything in the tummy. And then if you lift up that bottle, I'm going to swivel her right around with all the paraphernalia here. So I never have to lift an oily baby. This way I can move everything, including the baby. So I tend to use a slippery surface like this and put a towel or a blanket on.
That's a
And-
great idea.
Yep. And this ringing stroke, you can see how you can munch up the tummy, and yet, I'll just get your knee out of the way, you can work all around these corners. So just like when you're pregnant, like all the corners are where things get stopped up. So we can work all up here with a fingertip kneading all the way around.
It's the same way on big people, too.
Yep. Yep. So this is great. You can just expand and magnify, and it'll be good for anybody who's a big person. And then this is a little adapted for big people because it takes a bit more effort. But the other thing we do is what's called leg pumping. So first, yeah. So we do knees to the
likes that.
tummy. So we do both together, and that's called simultaneous leg pumping. Then we do alternate leg pumping like this. And then the third kind is tucking them up like a little hen and around. Woohoo! You are so strong. Yes. We have a Maui diver. Yes.
Whee!
Okay, as soon as I'm going to catch you, I'm going to catch you, I'm going to catch you. Here we go. So what you do is you try and bend at the back of the knee there, tuck them in, and then you rotate around and around so that their lower back is rotating against the table. Now, I'll put you to work. So you can take a leg, and I'll take a leg. Airielle, I'll get you to hold that. So you can have that one,
I was going to
Christine.
say, there's not another leg.
And we just
We're
work
gonna do that leg
right up
pumping.
here. Actually, we're moving on to even bigger and
boy.
better
Okay.
things. So what we're going to do is work the hips first. So you always work the hip first to open up the circulation to the extremity. And then we're going to do something that isn't as easy to do with big people, but you can put the leg right up like that, and then underneath we can ring close. There you go. Yep. And back and forth. Aren't you lucky? She likes yours
Wow.
better than mine. Oh no, she's checking and comparing. So
What
you
do you
just go
think?
up and down, so you can go right to the foot. Yep. Good technique, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can
So are
hold
you,
the ankle
Christine?
like that. Thank you. Hold the ankle like this, and then use the heel of your hand, and we'll just work all into the heel of their foot and the whole sole of the foot. Nice work.
Does that feel
Angelina?
good, Angelina? Oh,
Angelina, you're
boy.
so good. And then let's do alternate thumb kneading while we're at it. This feels so good. Yes.
Oh,
And
I
it's
can
really
just feel
great.
it.
To be able to work on kids when they're little. So if they did have problems later on, here, I'll give you a little bit of this. We're going to go on to the arms, so save it. So there you go. So now this is the slippery one. So hold on to her wrist, and it'll move around all over the place. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to move up to the shoulder, and it's around the shoulder, and she'll lift like that. She has a great reflexing. So it's a moving slippery fish. So around here, just stay right at the shoulder. Yep, good work. Your mom is so good. Okay, let's see if she can do the really complicated one here. This is alternate thumb kneading. Now you put both hands and you do up and out. Excellent. She passed that test. Okay, let's keep going.
What do you think?
Strong, Lily.
You're
So
strong.
keep coming
She
down
is
to the
strong.
hand And then we're going to go right into the palm of the hand, just like we did on the foot. Oh, you are so easy, yes.
Oh, they feel
Very
so
nice.
good, huh?
And then I'll show you some things that I leave till the end because often they just blow a fuse right at this point. But if they're teething, does she have any teeth?
Oh, yes.
So sometimes they get tight right in here, and you can work all around that jaw area, right in there. And then all like this around the, oh my gosh, she just about falls asleep on
She
the
liked that.
Yes, you're so good. And then you can do the light reflex stroking. Holy smoke, what a roller. Very, very good. Very nice.
You're not going
Perfect
nowhere.
timing.
I think she was rolling over for her back. She said, what
There
about
we
my
go.
back massage?
So one of the things that you do, you can see how they lift up. And this is much harder when they're anywhere over about 3 months. So that even if you do the massage like this, they tend to pop up. Just, you know, so it's definitely a massage on the run. So again, I would turn everything around like this. And then you can do the ringing again, like we did before. And you do that alternate thumb kneading all the way down into the lower back.
Like that.
Yep. And then you can take that leg, I'll take this one. And she is kind of oily, and she might go down for the count, but I think she's going to do push-ups instead. And then we'll just go right here into the feet. So you can do the ringing on the legs too, Christine, and you could do all the,
She's a
and
ballerina.
all of that light reflex stroking. Well, thank you. That was well done. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was fun. Say bye-bye to the people. Thank you so much,
Now,
Angelina.
is that a relaxed looking baby or not?
Doesn't she look happy?
She
Yes.
likes that microphone.
Want to talk?
She might sleep on the way home a little bit more
I hope
than
so.
usual. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us and
thank
for
you,
bringing your
Christine.
beautiful baby today. Yes, thank you. Well, that was lots of fun. Well, here we are again. Only this time I'm the wonderful being getting massaged. Yes.
The difference is that I'm massaging Airielle in a wheelchair, which is my passion above all other passions, to be able to help people get more comfortable, not only being in a chair, but also being able to maneuver somebody else in a chair. And as Airielle is sitting, it's her rear end, as cute as it might be, that will feel the pressure of a daily kind of lifestyle in a wheelchair. And also the arms, if they are resting here, are going to feel the pressure. So these are the areas that I'm going to show you how to do. It's not called the tush massage, but I straddle the wheel, and then I'm going to get cozy. So I'm going to have an intimate little kind of hug here, and we're just going to pretend you can't move that arm, okay? So what I'm going to do is lean forward and look for her hip. Now these are removable arms, but we're going to pretend they aren't, because the area that gets so achy on people, if they're sitting in a chair a long time, you might have your grandmother in a chair, might not be someone who's going to be terminally ill at all, but rather someone who's going to be able to be moved around more easily in a chair. So we want to be able to massage you in the chair itself. So we're going to lean across and be able to work all this area like this. Don't help me. You're so helpful. Thank you. Thank you. And then I can pull way underneath your hip there and massage all the way along and down your leg. So I'm always going to start at the part of you closest to the body, to the main trunk of the body, and open up the circulation. This is harder to get into in this angle, so that's why you reach across the chair, bracing yourself up against the chair. So that's just one of the tricks of wheelchair massage. And it's also very much me doing the work. So you would probably have a belt on, Airielle, to hold you in the chair. Then to do your back, try not to help me now, here's the trick. I would bring you forward, and I would let you rest into me, and then I'd take this hand and work all down into your lower back. and working right up the back itself and into the shoulder area, so that people don't have an idea that where they can't get to because it's not visible is unmassageable. Everything is massageable. But why don't we finish with the all-time favorites? This is, no matter what person is running a chair, sometimes with their arms, so this is all tight.
Really?
Sometimes only with their head, because they might have a high-level paralysis. So they're running the chair with a pressure pad back here, and only slight movements like this, that kind of thing is going to make the chair come forward, backward, move all around. So you work all in the back here in this area on the upper trapezius and be able to loosen everything up. And you can just drop your head forward. Thank you. And I'm working up and down, and I'm just going to, because I've got her mobile, swivel her around, so I've got a great angle for showing you how you can do this for someone in a chair, be it a wheelchair or a chair in front of a computer. This sort of walking with your thumbs loosens everything up. And I always use the F word, feedback, feedback, feedback. So how is this?
Oh, it just feels delicious.
Great.
I don't want you to ever stop. I know you have another appointment and you have to leave us, but I prefer you just stand here and give me a massage.
That's a nice Hawaiian attitude. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much for asking me to come and show people how to rub each other the right way.
It's my great pleasure. I think it's so important, really so important, and you do it so beautifully.
Thank you.
So if you would like to get in touch with this, wait, I'll tell you afterwards. Mwah. If you would like to get in touch with this beautiful lady, we have,
I have a website that is www.sutherlandmassageproductions.com.
and we will flash that for you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Always just been the greatest pleasure. Thank you for coming and bringing all of our other little entertainers along with you.
So can we do the Hawaiian
Aloha. And thank you for coming. Have a beautiful day.
Did I do that right?
You did that great.
You ready to get scanned?
Sure.
All right. Nice. Extend just like that.
That's nice and easy.
Take about 30 seconds is all.
Isn't that exciting? Wow.
All right. Now, when we did a clinical study, we averaged about 19,500. And we'll see if we can get
19,500 as an average.
right. Now we want the higher numbers better. Unlike cholesterol, you know, we want more the higher the number, it's a better like antioxidant level that you have in your body. So that wipes off that bad thing that you have in your body. Let me see this hand real quick. Have a support. Okay, all done. You can take your hand off.
There you go.
Now, this is your score.
There you go.
23,500. You fall in this category, the average. But you're still above that, our average.
About average.
You're above that average.